Have a warm welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Horst Lüning. I'm the senior taster of Whisky.com, and today we have the newest bottling of Aberlour Abunat. It's sherry. It's from the Sherry Cask Collection. It's the edition number 1, vintage 2025. It's 46.2 ABV and costs €98.90 here in Central Europe. It's uncolored, unchill filtered as a whiskey should be. Yeah, Abunat means the original. So this whiskey should as original to Aberlour as it could be. And this one is a special bottling of the Abunat. The Abunat is in the moment, I think, in the 82nd edition on the market, and those are regular Aberlours without an age statement, with high proof, I think, cask strength, and mixture between several casks, because the batches have a medium to high bottling number. This one is now from the Sherry Cask Collection, means that only sherry casks were used for this Abunat. And in this particular case, we have a fully finished in Spanish Oloroso cask and Pedro Jimenez casks. It's 56.2 ABV and it's original cask strength. That means we have several casks mixed together, but the alcohol volume by volume is measured after the mixture. When the batch is ready, immediately in front of bottling. Yeah, dark color, wonderful. And the Abunat is very special, is this kind of wax seal on the top of the big cork. I have no idea how to open this, but I can assure you that no bottle left this cask unopened. Yeah, and if they look as if they don't have a zipper on it, then I do have my cutter. Here we go. This should be enough. Yeah, here we go. Sherry cask, but I just had a sherry cask cask strength before here, my cask, and this tastes differently. Yeah, okay. There's a little bit of a sweet character in it. And this sweet character typically comes from Pedro Jimenez sherry casks. You do have a sherry is a wine, especially a fortified wine. That means you're fermenting the juice of grapes until it reaches a certain ABV. Then this fermentation stops. You put it in a cask to rest and to mature. And after some time, most often a year, with sherry, from time to time, much longer. And then you add spirit, brandy, typically from the same wine if you have a high quality sherry. If you do not have a high quality, then it's some brandy from somewhere. And then you go up to 20%, and this is the final strength for sherry. I've seen 90% in the past, but 20% is regular. But the yeast in the sherry does not mature or ferment higher than roughly 15%, then the alcohol kills the yeast. So you have to add brandy to get the ABV higher than 15. With the Pedro Jimenez sherry, where this whiskey was matured in those casks, there you stop the fermentation artificially earlier, say around 12% ABV. Then you have a residual sugar in it, and this sugar makes the sherry sweet. If you have a completely fermented grape juice to wine, then you have no residual sugar, and then you have a dry sherry. And the dark color comes from the oxidization in the sherry. You have the yeast, the foam on top of the sherry, and if it's closed, then it stays light. If the yeast falls down to the floor, then the liquid is exposed to oxygen from the surroundings, and oxidization takes place, and then the sherry turns brown. I personally prefer Oloroso sherry, which is not that sweet, but is oxidized and very fruity. The Pedro Jimenez is too sweet for me, personally. So it's... So syrup... like syrup or some very sweet juice. Yeah, maple syrup, something like that. So that's not mine. I like the Oloroso, but if there is Pedro Jimenez and Oloroso mixed in between, so it's not that sweet, the residual sherry coming from the porous walls from the cask, where the alcohol, the raw whiskey, sucks this juice out of the cask. Yeah, enough. Yeah. Very friendly on the nose, massive, dark, full, and some very intense vanilla in it. That's interesting. Berries. Dark berries, dried berries, dried grapes, sultanas. But on the other side, a little bit of fresh red apple. So this whiskey does not carry an age statement. So this may contain younger whiskies as well. So there, typically, you have some fresher fruitiness. And the older the whiskey becomes, the darker the fruitiness turns. So very old sherry cask matured whiskies have a darker fruitiness, dark figs, dark apricots. So all those dried fruits, dates, and so on. And the fresher it is, the more you have of red fruits. Yeah, this is in between. And a little bit of spiciness turning up. Ginger, pepper, we will see. So this is 56.2. I do not have that neat, so I add a little bit of water just to bring it down below 50. That should be enough, hopefully. Very good marks on the glass, uncolored, unchill filtered. Yeah, you have the fresher fruits like pears, and you have the dark fruits, blackberries. Yeah, dates, figs, and a little bit of aniseed. This might come from the higher alcohol content. Yeah, cheers. Round and massive. I think I'm above 45 now with the ABV, so it's still quite strong. And you have this light, sweet character with it, and the spiciness of the oak, the sherry casks. The aftertaste vanishes or starts to vanish in the moment, so it's a medium to long aftertaste with a little bit of syrup and light spiciness. There's no bitterness in it, no dark chocolate, nothing, no. I think this whiskey is a little bit, or not old enough to extract those tannins from the casks. So this one is heavy on the intense side. It's not sharp. It's not ginger-like. It's not fresh ground pepper. No, it's the spiciness of oak. Very pleasant, very friendly, covered by a light sweet note and a lot of fruitiness. Yeah. Very good. Yeah, that's it for today. Catch you next time.